All right, good afternoon, everyone. All right, come on, y'all. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, great. I want to thank you all for coming out. You all look amazing. So, thank you so much for being with us on this beautiful, bright, sunny day here in Central Park. And I want to welcome you to the Monumental Women's Celebration of Women's Equity Day and our past, present, and future on the occasion of the fifth anniversary of the unveiling of our Central Park Women's Rights Pioneers Monument, which is behind me. My name is Regina Wilson, and I am on the board of directors of Monumental Women, and that is one of the greatest accomplishments in my life is to be a part of this amazing statue and a group of people who are dedicated to make sure that the faces, the history, and the work that have done by women across the country are shown in parks and in spaces where women's faces have not been. So I'm honored to be a part of this organization. I also want to take the opportunity to share with you the WRPM 5th Anniversary Land Acknowledgement. Monumental Women acknowledge the land on which Central Park stands as the original homeland of the Lenape people and the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this territory. We honor the generations of stewards and we pay our respects to the many diverse indigenous people still connected to this land. We also give our respect to the people of the Seneca village, which was located nearby a community of primarily African American and immigrant property owners who were removed from this land, whose village was destroyed in the creation of Central Park. We recognize and we sacrifice that these ancestors made and honor the Seneca village legacy. At this time, I will have the great honor and privilege to introduce to you our president, Pamela M.
5 years ago, in the middle of a pandemic, we stood here on Women's Equality Day to unveil our Women's Rights Pioneers Monument. We celebrated the fact that Monumental Women, our all volunteer, not for profit group, had broken the bronze ceiling in Central Park to create the first statue of real women in the 167-year anniversary of Central Park. But it was one of the rare days in life when years of hard work actually resulted in a profound victory over the prejudice and stupidity of the past, if I may say. Now, 5 years later, we're confronted with a challenge to democracy in general and a campaign to erase from the nation's history the vast and various contributions of women, people of color, and other groups that the current president doesn't like. He has recently issued a vile and hate-filled executive order entitled Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History. It claims ownership over history itself, and it defines who can be designated as worthy to be included in that history. Monumental Women says a very loud and resounding no. As I have said many times over the last 5 years, at Monumental Women, we're proud that our Women's Rights Pioneers Monument makes a lasting statement to all visitors in Central Park, a message written in stone and shaped in bronze that equality applies to everyone and history includes us all. All of us who believe in democracy are now confronted with many battles on many fronts as the sweeping wave of autocracy washes over us. But let us not forget that history also exists to remind us that such battles can be won if we fight back in ways both large and small. Being here today to honor the women who have come before us is a way of fighting back. Being here today to state publicly that we refuse to let the current president take history hostage in a battle for liberty, justice, and equality in this nation is a way of fighting back. Monumental Women's ongoing effort to honor the diverse women who have come before us is a way of fighting back. And just wait until you see what Monumental Women is planning in 2026 to celebrate the 250th anniversary of 1776. We invite you to join us. We will continue our fight for a full and fair historical record. Today, to honor all those valiant souls who have participated and given their lives to make history. I am proud to respond to the current president's new executive order. Happy Women's Equality Day!
What a beautiful day we have here today to celebrate both Monumental Women's past accomplishments and our plans for the future. Thank you for joining us for what was originally conceived as a small get-together. I'm really, really happy that so many people have shown up here and has blossomed into a much larger gathering of past, present, and supporters-to-be. My name is Brenda Berkman. I'm the Vice President of Monumental Women. I want to remind you that not only are we looking at and commemorating Meredith Bergman's very beautiful and meaningful statue, but with every aspect of the representation of these three women, it's conveying not only their personal histories, but also the larger history of the movement for women's rights. And Meredith's going to talk about that a little later. But it's also the 5th anniversary of the unveiling of our Talking Statues app. Monumental Women chose, against some opposition, to add the app accessible by our QR code, which is over here on the sign, but you can also access on our website, to provide more content about these women and their role in the women's rights movement via an imaginary historical dialogue written by scriptwriter Joanna Parent based on these women's real writings, speeches, and frequent meetings to discuss, plan, and speak from the same stages. And actually, because of COVID, yes, you all remember the complete shutdown 5 years ago, we were able to achieve the impossible with our app. We got the award-winning actresses Viola Davis, Jane Alexander, Meryl Streep, and Zoe Saldana, America Ferrara, and Rita Moreno to narrate that dialogue, in many instances on their iPhones because they couldn't get into a recording studio. Thank you, Emily Dombroff, wherever you are. Oh, there she is. She was our genius technical expertise and for all her dedication in putting that all together. In the past 5 years, 50,000 people have walked by this monument to access that app. 50,000 people from all over the world. Obviously, many more people have actually walked by the monument and admired it. Typically, they take a picture and off they go. But 50,000 people have actually listened to more content in both English and Spanish. So check it out for yourselves before leaving and encourage your friends to do the same every time they visit Central Park. Monumental Women is also continuing to improve and expand our virtual New York City Women's Rights History Trail. Anyone can use the map of the virtual trail of the 5 boroughs where women's history was made. So our initial map is going to expand to women in all the boroughs. Right now, we really would like people to suggest women from the Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, and Upper Manhattan. We have a way of doing that on our website with a nomination form, so join us in making use of and expanding the trail. We continue to with our Put Her on a Pedestal project to inspire people, especially young people, to think about which women should be honored in public spaces by providing an online template to research and create image with text. Monumental Women has partnered on multiple occasions with the New York State Museum. Shout out to Jennifer and Ashley over here, waving at us, who've joined us today from the museum. And we've done these sessions with their visitors, as well as other educational and community groups. So organize a Put Her on a Pedestal event of your own and reach out to us for more information on the website. Hey, Girl Scouts, this is the perfect thing for you. And finally, for groups interested in organizing their own public art projects, Monumental Women has put together an online toolkit for change based on our experiences with our projects as well as other best practices. We are in the process of updating the toolkit, so check it out and let us know how we can improve it. You can tell from my brief and rapid description of our Monumental Women projects that we are not resting on our laurels, but continuing our mission of writing all women back into the historical record through an inclusive education campaign in partnerships with individuals and other groups, and challenging U.S. municipalities to recognize and honor the contributions of women and people of color with tributes in their public spaces. It's a tough environment, as Pam made clear, that nonprofits like Monumental Women face right now. But we have faced and overcome difficult challenges before in our efforts to expand people's understanding of American history. As we approach the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence next year, join us by signing up for our newsletter and our Augusta Savage initiative and support us in this important work. And now I'm pleased to introduce Monumental Women board member Celeste Kirkland, electrical maintenance technician. Hey, you could have fixed this probably. Proud rank and file member of the Transport Workers Union Local 100 of New York City. Strong. TWU. Strong advocate for teaching women organizational skills and vice president of the New York City chapter of the Coalition of Labor Union Women. Celeste.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that a lot of you made it here safely through using transit. Okay, what I'm going to do this afternoon, is I'm going to talk about former and current board members who have contributed, like we contribute ourselves to this cause, so much to the success of Monumental Women. I'm going to start with the former Monumental Women board members. And could you please raise your hand when I call your name if you're here? Heather Nestle. Heather's not here? Okay. Ellen Chesler. Namita Luthra. Judaline Cassidy. Lynn Scher. Eileen McDonald. And Meredith Mascara. The current board members with us today, please raise your hand as your name is called. Board President Pam Elam. Board Vice President Brenda Berkman. Colleen Jenkins. Where's Colleen? Regina Wilson. Ruth Olson. Celeste Kirkland. And Penelope Cox. Board members who could not attend, but we want to give a shout out to, are definitely David Spalding, Ariel Dush, Gary Ferdman, Miriam Midzian, Paula Stokey, Nancy Brown, and Marsha Weinstein. Again, thank you all for attending. At this time, it is my honor to introduce Penelope. And Penelope is right here. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am the Monumento Women newest board member, but I've been involved with this activity for some time. This was unimaginable when I met this whole crew. And the beauty that you're looking at now is directly attributable to one astounding sculptor who was with us the whole way. So I'd like to ask Meredith Bergman to come up for a few minutes.
Thank you all for coming today. This is a happy occasion, and we need them. I'm proud of Monumental Women for conceiving of this project to honor and celebrate our pioneers, and humbly grateful to have been able to work with them to make this monument. It's wonderful that it has so quickly become part of the fabric of the city and is so well used. I hope it will continue to inspire and encourage the celebration of women in other towns and cities, the celebration of women's contributions to civic life, to hope for the future, and to life itself. At the unveiling of my first women's monument back in 2003, the Boston Women's Memorial, I tried to tell the crowd about the sense of history I'd gained in working on the statues. I said, "We are still at the beginning of a process of fundamental change in human behavior, the liberation of women. This is not automatic, inevitable, or to be taken for granted. Other countries are experimenting with suppressing us, as we have not been suppressed for years." In 2003, I had a sense of how recent and fragile women's rights are, but I could not have imagined I would ever, in my country, actually see any of them revoked. I'm still in shock. These three women loved freedom and wanted it for themselves. Freedom to define themselves and control their own bodies, their own property, and their own ambitions. They led a revolution against the definition of woman that denied them the liberty to fulfill themselves and to participate in civic life. And they did not fight for themselves alone. Hillary Clinton, in her speech at the unveiling 5 years ago, emphasized the significance of portraying three great Americans working together. These women did not agree about everything. How could they? But they made common cause to fight for the abolition of slavery and the right to vote. Look at them, please, and realize that at this moment, somewhere and everywhere in this country, women are sitting together, figuring out what must be done to change the world. Today, let's celebrate Monumental Women and our ability to change what needs to be changed. Thank you.
Next, I would like to call up to share a few words. The woman who is responsible for my being here today and my the gift that I had to work on this project when I was in her employ with the great city of New York, none other than the inimitable Gail Brewer.
Hello, everyone. It is an honor to be here. I'm Gail Brewer, City Council. Pam Elan and I met in 1978 in the City Council. I haven't gone anywhere, and she's done a lot. And I want to say thank you to her and also to the entire board, particularly Brenda Berkman, who was a firefighter when I first met her. Now she's an artist and God knows what else. Such talent as an attorney also. So, and then Meredith Berkman, what a friggin' sculptor. Not only does she a great sculptor, she's also a great writer, thinker, and she got us through hell and kept going and making this happen. So thank you, Meredith. I laugh a little bit at what some of the things Brenda Berkman said. Let me tell you why. Everybody calls me about everything. So somebody called me the other day, I don't remember who, and said, Gail, I have a great idea. Shouldn't all the statutes in New York have a QR code and have information? I said, you have to be kidding me. We already did that. Go call Brenda Berkman, I'll give you her number, and Pam Elam, and I'll give you her number. So before you go thinking this is your idea, why don't you go talk to people who've actually done it? And then the second thing, which was also ironic, is you understand that being here today has many memories for those of us who were here when it was opened and who got through the Parks Department, the PDC, and every other initial that exists in city government. Every acronym we got through. And the reason I say that is we were actually told at one point nobody would visit, there's no need to do this statue. In fact, we don't do new statues in Central Park. So we got over that, but guess what? Number one visit in Central Park, this statue. Number one! So it's just very clear to me that when you put amazing people together and you have an amazing cause, that it works. And particularly with the group of people who were part of this incredible building and memory and thought process. I must admit, I'm also thinking of Bella Abzug today, because she was the one that passed the legislation in Congress that made today Suffrage Day, August 26th. And I always think of her every single time, but it's nice to know that she would be so happy by this particular statue and gathering here today. I'm sure she would be here. So thank you, Bella, for everything you did for all of us. You meant a lot to me and everybody else. So I am simply here. This is for everybody. It does say Pam Elam on it, but it is for everybody who's part of Monumental Women, which is a wonderful, wonderful organization. And trying to do elsewhere what we accomplished here is not easy, but I know they'll be successful. And it basically says it's a great city, but it's only as great as the people who are part of it. And in this case, Pam Elam, outstanding citizen, one who's worthy of the esteem of the entire city council, Gail Brewer. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here, and we'll see you next year. Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite up another long-term friend and supporter, the Chief Curator of History at the New York State Museum, Jennifer Lemack.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's see. Congratulations to Monumental Women on the 5th anniversary of the unveiling of the Women's Rights Pioneer Monument here in Central Park. A truly remarkable achievement. I remember coming to the unveiling 5 years ago in the midst of COVID. It was the first time since lockdown my colleague, Ashley Hopkins Benton, and I were allowed to leave Albany for work. We were shocked to find the city so quiet, but as we approached the covered statue, we were confronted with pure joy and celebration. It is a day I will never forget. This sculpture honors 3 trailblazing New York women, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, and Sojourner Truth, who challenged our nation to live up to its ideals. But it also tells a modern story of a determined group of women joined by some enlightened men who refused to take no for an answer when they set out to make sure real women would finally be represented in Central Park. These stories are why we are so grateful that Monumental Women donated the 1/3 size statue Women's Rights Pioneer sculpture to the New York State Museum's collections in 2023. Public monuments matter. They are not just stones and bronze. They shape our collective memory, they influence what we teach our children, and they quietly remind us, day after day, who and what we choose to honor. This monument is not only a tribute to the past, it is a call to action for the future. It urges us to keep pushing for equality, to lift up voices too often left out of our history, and to continue building a world where everyone's contributions are recognized. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Whenever there's a young person who wants to get involved in politics and they think they're going to wait around for a presidential election, I say the things that affect you the most are at the city and the state level. And I want to call up here another wonderful state employee, the senior historian and curator from the New York State Museum, Ashley Hopkins Benton.
I am so glad to be here today to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Women's Rights Pioneers Monument in Central Park and to honor the amazing and steadfast team that made it happen. I'm grateful for the ways our work in women's history has brought us together on projects, supporting one another through the years, and especially the fact that we get to share the 1/3 scale model of the monument in Albany with our visitors. Women's history has for too long been forgotten or erased, but understanding our history is essential. Learning about the obstacles overcome by the suffragists, marveling in the masterwork of an artist, or studying the work of a groundbreaking scientist can inspire us to keep going and work toward goals in our own lives, especially when it isn't easy. At the same time, learning history can be a sobering reminder of the mistakes of the past, hopefully driving us to do better as we make our own way through the world. We can't truly work for justice and equality in the future without understanding where we have come from and the barriers we have broken down. Cultivating a curiosity for history, especially among young people, is also essential. The study of history should, of course, be an important part of curriculum in schools, but students should also have opportunities to encounter diverse history out in the world, in different formats and styles. A monument like the Women's Rights Pioneers Monument should leave visitors inspired, but also wanting to dig for more. Who were these women? How did they accomplish all that they did? Who worked with them? The same is true when we feature women's history in museum exhibitions, on coins, in theater, and in the arts. We start to see the snippets of the stories that we've missed, and hopefully want to learn more. I'm so grateful that children can now see these 3 real historical women in Central Park, that they might come upon them accidentally and come to questions about why they are here and why they are important. I hope they find inspiration and lessons in their stories, as well as the story of placing the monument here itself.
And now, to finish up the show, I'd like to introduce 2 additional board members, Ruth Olson and Colleen Jenkins.
My name is Colleen Jenkins, and I'm here to give a toast. A toast to the 3 women, the pioneers, Truth, Anthony, and Stanton, to their pioneering efforts to bring a better nation by the inclusion of 51% of the nation called women into women's rights. Yes. Now I would like to toast all of you, including Regina, who looks unbelievable, and who arranged the New York City Fire Department shooting up of water out of the East River this morning for us. So could you please look at somebody near you and thank them for what they've done for the advancement of women in America. Thank you. And then I would like to ask Ashley to come forward, because it's not the past, it's not the now, but it's the future. Could you please come up, Ashley? Ashley is a mother of a girl and a boy. We will stand on their shoulders in the future. So let's salute Ashley and the next generation that will take over, and we stand on their shoulders. Thank you, Ashley, and everyone else.
On behalf of Monumental Women, I want to express our gratitude to all of our supporters. First, thank you to those who believed in our mission from the beginning, when it was just a vision especially those who helped us lay the foundation that led to this statue being unveiled 5 years ago. Thank you also for our current supporters, those whose ongoing generosity, commitment, and energy support our continued efforts. Finally, many thanks to all of our supporters who in the future we hope will act as stewards of that mission going forward. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. We look forward to seeing you next year, and in the interim, working closely with you to advance women's history. Thank you.